Hey guys, it's Blockchain Brad, and today we're talking about all things Traveller. And to do that, we are very lucky to have the CEO of Traveller in the hot seat. His name is Matt Lachinsky. Matt, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thanks for having me on, Brad.
Not a problem, mate. And for those who would like to know, this is a free interview. It is all about trying to provide updates about exactly what Traveller's been doing of late and to provide you with key insights into their technology and their plan for the future. So, Matt, let's get stuck into this. Traveller is the name and travel is the game. Tell us, just in a nutshell, for those who perhaps don't know, what is Traveller about and what are you trying to do?
Traveller is about reducing the cost for accommodation booking and travel-related services for the end user. We target specifically the crypto community in order to provide benefits to those in the ecosystem in the blockchain space. We currently allow up to 40 cryptocurrency payment methods, including our native currency AVA. And we will be creating an incentive system for our token to benefit every single user that comes onto the platform in the future.
Okay, so one of the terms I've read with regard to what you are is Nota, or more importantly, the next generation online travel agency. So in that respect, I wanted to talk to you about next generation. What exactly does that mean?
So the next generation of online booking we see as taking what has worked with traditional models, centralized models, and allowing and providing blockchain aspects such as the token incentivized system and the cryptocurrency payment methods. By doing this, we're sort of providing a real value to cryptocurrency and providing use cases for every digital asset that we deem acceptable to be taken onto the platform. And so that's where we see our key focus.
Right. So what was the reason, Matt, that you started? I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about the update for the most part of the interview, but I'd like to know what was the motivation for utilizing cryptocurrency?
Myself and Steve, we came together and we started to discuss different ways we could do things and how we could improve current models and bring them towards a new user case and new user adoption. Cryptocurrency is a real key example of that, and we thought this is the best sort of direction for the project to go in.
Okay, well, it's quite innovative given that you have done it. So how long has it been in operation for so far?
So the platform, we actually ran an ICO earlier last year, in 2018, of March of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been operational since then, actually. The platform, Traveller.com, got rebranded mid 2018, and then we went live around June 2018. So since then, we've sort of been operational. We've been constantly developing and building away. Mm-hmm. And we have the product that we have today with over 500,000 properties worldwide, full access to multiple different cryptocurrency payment methods and soon fiat.
Right. So Matt, given that obviously you have substantial numbers of properties around the world, 500,000 you mentioned, or 500,000.
Yep.
Clearly there's something that you would argue sets you apart because you're doing something in the space right now that's different to most. But what's the thing? What's that sets you apart from the others that perhaps could come on board in the future and utilize, this ecosystem? What's the core assets of Traveller that perhaps others don't have?
The core assets of Traveller that others don't have is really our usability of our platform. We have created a system that is part decentralized, part centralized. It's very easy for any user to come onto our platform and sign in, book a product, book a booking, and finalize it. Okay, right now we have cryptocurrency, and that doesn't appeal to every single user that we will target, but we will soon have fiat, and then we'll be able to increase that user adoption. Once we increase that user adoption, people use fiat on the platform, traditional users such as my mum, they'll start to see cryptocurrency. It'll be pushed into them, and then they may go and research it, and it might drive adoption more so of cryptocurrency in that sense. We'll also providing a use case for everyone with cryptocurrency. Right now, for example, Ripple, there's no way you can use your Ripple if you're a retail investor. We are one of the first platforms that you can go on our platform and use your Ripple if you have any. We see this as really, Traveller as a real strong use case for the whole crypto industry, actually, of many retail and businesses holding cryptocurrency assets and able to, when they need to use them instead of cashing it out into fiat. We can use it on the travel booking.
Mm. So that's quite interesting because for the most part, when you're looking at the crypto space, there's a predominance of store of value and really people trading and speculating. So are you a proponent of most of the space moving into this utility and currency ecosystem, whereby there's this open network of trade and currency is the norm?
Yeah, essentially, I see that happening. I don't think I think people will always trade, people will always speculate, and people will always make money. You know, those people that bought Bitcoin 4 years ago are in heavy profit right now, and we see that on our platform with people. We have big bookings in Bitcoin at the moment, very big for where the market settlement is. So we can see that sort of continuing as it grows, and people obviously not wanting to essentially cash out their cryptocurrency because of the cost associated. Instead, they can use it on something that they have to use for a conference or have to use for a holiday, for example.
Right. Well, let's talk about the volatility, Matt, because one of the things I did want to understand better was how do you as a business cope with the volatility of these coins that you house? You have over 40, you mentioned. So how do you maintain your profit margins when there's such flux in the market itself?
So firstly, we'll separate AVA, our native currency, and the cryptocurrency assets that we have externally. The cryptocurrency assets we have externally, we use a payment processor for. They are highly liquid tokens. Once we take the asset from the user, they are given to the payment processor, and the payment processor deals in OTC trades and provides us the fiat within minutes, actually, of taking that asset. So in that sense, we completely mitigate the risk of volatility.
So in that sense, just to interrupt, so in that sense, you have a third party who acts as an intermediary between them and you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the cryptocurrency side. The AVA side, right now, when someone pays in the AVA asset, we take and we hold that for the purpose of not putting out into the market, and we pay the booking with our cash reserves. We will obviously, we see more with more booking options and cryptocurrency payment methods and fiat payment methods. We see more bookings coming through the different assets rather than the AVA token because of the limited supply of the AVA token. And we will be using those AVA tokens to provide growth in the platform itself.
Right. So how's it going so far with the inner workings and mechanics? You mentioned you've got these limited supply. Obviously, that's for the most part, most cryptocurrencies do have that finite structure. How's everything going so far in operation as now that you are live and operational as a business?
Yeah, so it's actually going really well. Our growth is been very, very very good actually at the moment. We've had about an 80% month-on-month growth over the past few months. If anyone was to take a look on Alexa, for example, they'd see our website traffic and position in the world has grown from 600,000 in the world to 300,000 over the last month. So we've seen some real increases in usage of the platform and visibility of the platform. We see this continuing as we're going through January. We took around 21 bookings in December. We've already overachieved and smashed that by double in January, and we're only halfway through the month. So we're constantly building, constantly increasing the size of what we can offer.
Right. And Matt, talk us through the reasoning why someone would use crypto. Obviously, you alluded to fiat coming to the platform very soon. So what motivates someone to go and use crypto when they can just use fiat in any online agency?
So what we wanted to do is provide use cases to the cryptocurrencies and people who held cryptocurrencies. We know that it's a growing market. We know that it's a growing trend, and we wanted to do something different. The cryptocurrency aspect of our platform is a niche. Nobody is doing this. For example, Agoda tried to take Bitcoin during 2017, which they had to discontinue because they couldn't make it work. Now we can make it work, and we know when the growth of crypto when the market grows again and more people are using cryptocurrency, we want to be sat there at the top. People understand that we are here to accept your cryptocurrencies. We are here to give you a use case for profits that were made, or money that you don't want to cash out through fiat currency, for example.
Right. Now, to clarify as well, say I'm a user and I'm looking online and I find a property and I want to do a transaction and I want to go and stay somewhere. The price I pay, is that based on the exchanges and relative to the price at that time, so that it locks in at that point?
Yeah, exactly. So if you go onto the platform right now and you find a booking for $100 and it's say $25 cheaper than booking.com, you will pay that price that you have selected right at that moment. You'll have 10 minutes to make the transaction. Once if you go over that time, then the price will change, but that's based on the hotel changing price as well, which all are all factored into our system.
So in that respect, how are the funds going with regard to, you mentioned you've raised. Talk us through how much you raised and how much you actually retained if in fact you did cash that out into fiat to make yourselves sustainable.
We took $2.6 million US at the times of transactions during the initial raises over a year ago. Mm-hmm. I can't mention exactly how much we cashed out, but we did cash out some amount. We held some, as most projects did. And we are about to actually start a private Series A round for the Travala project. And this round is actually for specifically marketing and to bring Travala to the mass adoption. We are actively speaking to VCs, and we're potentially looking to do a crowdfunding campaign for our community members. That's actually a world exclusive, and you're the first one to be told about that.
Well, I appreciate that. So talk us through this a little bit more. So you're going to be doing another round. How much are you hoping to raise by doing this, Matt, for Travala?
Well, we're actually potentially looking to raise around $5 million in total. Mm-hmm. And this will be a pure equity raise, actually. So we've done brief mentions to some community members about if they would be interested in that style of thing, because it is a traditional crowdfunding raise, buying share capital into a company and becoming a shareholder. And many are very, very interested. So we deemed that, if we're going for a private round and offer it to private investors, then why not offer it to community as well, which we are able to do.
I really respect that you're doing that, because just as we've seen the ICO bubble of 2018, many people were precluded from access, from those initial tiers of access that were so beneficial financially for so few. So now you're opening it up. So talk us through the security aspect. Obviously, there's a narrative of this changeover from ICO to STO. You mentioned equity. So is there going to be dividends for these people, and will this be regulated?
So it will be a fully traditional raise. So it won't be anything to do with the security token.
Okay. So no token involved? No token involved
at all. Got to completely separate the two for the purpose of this. Mm-hmm. And it will be obviously shareholdings in the actual company itself. So yes, dividends will be involved. Yes. The traditional style of owning a company will be involved, which Travala is and always was and always will be part centralized, part decentralized. We use blockchain technology and we use the benefits of blockchain in a centralized system to drive that mass adoption and become that hybrid.
Right, and as do so many, Matt, in that sense as well, because they are hybridized. And obviously, being equity, you opened that up to the multitude of people. But what are the inherent risks you see? And one of the things I wanted to ask you directly is, are you raising these funds because you didn't raise enough or you didn't keep enough in your last raise?
No, actually, it was always part of our plan that we would be having to go through a Series A. We will go through a Series B. We'll go through a Series C to drive the growth that we know that we can achieve. The travel market's so big, and the growth that we can predict is exponential. So we see more rounds in the future happening with our project because of how big we want to grow and how big we can see ourselves growing.
Right. I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction from the community as well, because obviously your transparency is welcomed, and it's going to be interesting to see the kind of feedback, because we haven't had that many companies be as transparent as you about a second raise. So are you arguing that it's imperative for your growth?
Essentially, yes. We want to grow, and the rate that we want to grow, we must do a second raise. And if we wanted to grow slowly, we could survive and we could we could, slowly gain users and slowly drive our marketing with the funds that we have now and become break even quite easily. But we don't just want to break even quite easily and have a slow growth. We want exponential growth. We want to have in a year's time 1,000 times the amount of users that we have right now. We don't want to do this slowly. We want to do this fast. And the rate our team's growing and the experience that we have in our team, this is a definite thing that has to happen.
Right. And Matt, talk us through the plan with Fiat, because I imagine by integrating and utilizing Fiat, it's going to open up a whole new ballgame of users who aren't sort of savvy or with regard to the cryptocurrency space. Why are you doing that in this sense? And is there any risk that by doing so that you circumvent the whole point of cryptocurrencies, because people would just get so used to fiat transactions?
In a sense, no, because for one thing, majority of users, as big as we think the crypto world is, the majority of users are using fiat. And if we want to be a platform that is focused on user adoption and growth, then we must open our doors to everyone possible. That's why we've opened our doors to the cryptocurrency space, and no one else has done that yet. So in a sense, yeah, we have to do it to drive the adoption. It's not eliminating the crypto side at all, because our AVA token, and we're currently building the incentive system within our platform, every user will be able to get our cryptocurrency asset. Whether they take it off the platform or keep it on the platform to use as discounts on their next booking. For example, my mum, she may do a booking and she may receive 5 AVA, which she can use on the next booking as a discount, which she use with a fiat or PayPal transaction, for example. So in a sense, we're kind of covering both markets.
Okay, so with regard to the utility itself, talk us through that, because I've read in some of the literature about you that you regard the token as an incentive mechanism, but also it functions as a currency internally through its utility to run your whole ecosystem. So how can it be both? Talk us through that.
So AVA is a payment method on the platform. It allows a user to use it as a booking. That brings it into our system. So that allows then us to give that out within the incentive system for reviews, referrals, affiliate programs, and givebacks. Mm-hmm. So essentially, the payment is bringing it back into the system for Travala to then use to grow the ecosystem.
Okay. Well, I've read online with some responses to other video content, some users or some comments that were raised from the community where some felt that there was no need for the token. So obviously you know about some of those comments too. Tell us why you need to have this token the way it is. If in fact you do agree, I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, I do agree. It took us around 6 months to design the incentives mechanism really around the project. The incentive mechanism actually allows the growth that we were talking about earlier for user adoption. It gives every single user the chance to have a benefit of a real value. Now, we haven't seen this before in an incentives program on a traditional model. Maybe for example, Uber give you a token. Not Uber don't give you a token, but a business maybe give you a token in their application, and you can use it on their application, but it has no real value. It's like air miles. They have no real value. Now, the AVA token has a real value. So if you're giving it out to users, and some can take it off and some can keep it on. It depends on obviously what you choose to do.
The reality is that this is something new, so it's not easy to talk about all the time, Matt. But the cool thing is that for the first time I've had a CEO tell me directly that it's not the same as getting points, as you mentioned, for mileage for your Virgin travel or for Qantas in Australia. This is really different because the actual token itself is money. Yeah. So that being said, really what you're trying to do is bring the utility, that utility to the travel space for the very first time. Are there any other competitors out there doing anything like what you're doing?
No, they're actually not. There is another travel-related project in the crypto space. I think building on Ethereum. Last update I got, they were building their own blockchain now, and they're doing some other things. But they seem very diverse compared to what we're doing. I mean, we offer travel bookings, but it's a very bad user experience from what I've been told. It's very hard to even get onto their platform. I think they focus more on decentralization, which we know from our research, we know that isn't going to be like what gets adopted by users, and it isn't going to drive user acquisition.
Right. Well, what about your team? Now, have you got the right team? Are you expanding? You've alluded to the plan to have more money to build out your business plan and the ecosystem itself. But what about the team? Are you hiring more people?
Yeah, we are constantly hiring more people. Actually, we don't publicize everything, but we have a team of around 17 now. That is international as well. One of our key members, who actually just recently became a shareholder of Traveller, Juan Otero, ex-Booking.com advocate from 2016. From 2006, sorry. He has a wealth of experience, a wealth of connections across the travel space. Through his connections, we are constantly talking with high-level people from all different companies in the travel world. And yeah, we are actively looking to bring on more experience from big players and sort of steal some big employees.
Well, give us some names, because I read through all the partners that you have, and it's quite substantial. You've got some new partners coming as well, I understand. So talk us through some of the previous partners that you've already forged relationships with, and those that are coming as well. As the CEO, no one else knows more than you.
Yeah, so the past partnerships we've made, they've been made with very big global distribution services and very big travel products across the world. Some of the biggest, in fact. We will, through one of these, we will actually be offering over 1.4 million properties worldwide by the end of Q1. So as you can tell,
you can guarantee that right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. That's already in play. Obviously, that's quite big already. We are talking to some of the biggest, well-known servers in the world. But obviously, I can't mention them yet because
you can try. You can. We don't mind if you do, Matt. You can say whatever you want. But I assume obviously you do need to, have signed agreements before for NDAs as well. But clearly the numbers are growing substantially and exponentially for Q1, Q2. Now, I don't want to FOMO. I think that all of that FOMO discussion is a bunch of bullshit. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be talking about real companies and real tech. That's why we're here. But Matt, I did want to ask you, how do you explain the correlation between your token value and all of this business growth that's clearly going to happen and is happening day in, day out? Because I looked at your price on CoinMarketCap over a period of time, let's say longitudinally, and there is a decline like everything else. Yeah.
Well, I actually checked it the other day, and we did see a decline from the ICO stage and whatever.
Sorry, generally. I did mean my apologies.
Yeah. And then recently we've actually seen like a sort of upward trend, which is strange because obviously the market segment was in a downtrend. But apart from that, I see the correlation between the community and the sort of what we put out and sort of how we've over-delivered. We don't directly look and seek to increase the token price, but it is very good to see. And obviously the growth of the token being spread to more places and increasing in the amount of wallets there are is a very good sign that AVA and Traveller are being more well-known across the space.
Absolutely. What do you say to those people though, Matt, that buy AVA with the intention of hodling it? This is an important thing because I would assume that's contrary to what you've built.
Yeah, make sure you spend it.
Right. So what do you say to everyone who says they want BTC to maintain its position as an SOV and everything else in the space? Do you think that's what the whole ecosystem is designed to be, as SOVs? Or is that just a product of speculation before utility?
I guess it is a product of speculation before utility.
Well, you wouldn't know because you're utility now. You're one of the
few. Yeah, we're one of the few that's maintained. That's definitely true.
Well, now, what about cost savings? Why would someone choose you over another platform, a travel platform, in terms of savings?
Our savings are actually amazing. If anyone wants to check out our blog.travala.com, we actively post daily about savings compared to mainstream OTAs. Some cases yesterday in the UAE region, a hotel was 40% cheaper on Travala rather than Booking.com. This is across the board, and our prices will only get better as we increase the amount of properties on the platform.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I'll mention now, I went through and checked all the reviews, and you've had some very positive reviews from actual users who've gone and utilized the platform. And something exciting I think is happening, I understand anyway, you're not just going to be for bookings for hotels, but you're also going to move into airlines in the long term. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's very true. I'd actually say the medium term as well.
Medium term. Okay.
Yeah, realistically, by the end of 2019, we want to have integrated our first access to flights. It could be a little bit longer than that. We haven't quite planned it out yet because we're focusing our work on the accommodation and making sure that's perfect. But by mid 2019, realistically, we should know when we're sort of looking to add the flights.
Okay. Now, your site itself is very easy to use, and that's not FOMO. It's just true. It's nice and seamless. But how easy is it, Matt, for someone who has AVA tokens as opposed to fiat to know how to interact with that interface so that they can make that transaction? Talk us through the process.
It's very simple. Very, very simple. Essentially, go onto the platform. You can either log in or you can go straight to the hotel booking the destination that you choose and the hotel that you choose. Click with fiat, pay. Now, if you use an AVA, click with AVA. It'll ask you to deposit your AVA into your wallet. Obviously, you'll have had to log in as well. Deposit your AVA into our in-system wallet. Once it's been deposited, the transaction can then happen instantly as soon as you click book.
Right. So
this is one of the benefits of having an in-system wallet.
Okay. So talk us through the verification process. How fast is that, given that the blockchain itself is relatively fast, even now with its slow speeds? How is that transaction verified? How long does that normally take?
With Neo's chain at the moment, sometimes it's around 15 seconds. Sometimes it's been around 5-10 minutes. It depends on obviously what's sort of going on with the chain. Unfortunately, obviously we've been seeing quite a number of spam attacks over the past few months, which has actually caused, that was actually the reason for us to build the in-system wallet to mitigate the risk of transactions failing.
Right.
So yeah, it doesn't take too long basically. It's sort of whatever Neo sort of running at.
Sure. Now you mentioned Neo, and obviously you utilize blockchain to cut out those middleman costs as well. It's really seamless from point A to point B. But what about your position as relatively agnostic? Are you planning on utilizing potentially other blockchains to provide this service in the future?
Well, we're not really. We like Neo and we like everything it sort of offers us, but it depends on what happens in the future. If something more beneficial was to come out and provide us, and it made sense for us to move, then we may move, or we may build our own blockchain.
Sure.
There's sort of any possibility. Being a startup, we have to be versatile, and we have to make sure that it's the best move for the project.
Okay, so is it possible that you could also function on more than one chain as well, Matt?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Right. What about your roadmap, Matt? What's planned that's specific and that's going to be a game changer in Q1, Q2, Q3 as we unfold and unfurl for 2019?
Travelutionary integrated into our platform, and that will be a game changer for a traveler.
Right.
It allows us access to so many different more gateways of and distribution services into the Traveller platform, and that's really our focus point of what we're developing at the moment. The incentive system as well will initially be focusing on the affiliate and the referral systems, and they will be complete game changers because they will drive that user adoption that we want to achieve so much. For example, the referral system, anyone can take part in it. You as a user can go and share it with your friends and get some cryptocurrency back. So you could see how that could easily be adopted quite fast in the crypto space on its own,
right?
Let alone the traditional. If you, for example, can use the affiliate program, for example, as an influencer, you can promote Travala to your community and show how it works and show how it's used, and you benefit from it, and you benefit everyone else who then takes part in that program as well.
Right. And certainly travels is something that everyone wants to do around globally, because it's something for leisure. It's something that everyone aspires to be able to, make time for. And given the fact that this affiliate program, you are one of the few that can already prove the potential to effectively plant the seeds in the mainstream domain. Yeah, and that's exciting, because that gets the conversation, that crypto conversation, going far beyond the reaches of this very small cryptocurrency microcosm where everyone seems to sort of cohabitate and discuss all things crypto. But really, it's difficult to break those borders. So
yeah, it is.
The potential for you is immense, I think, in that sense. And do you expect, but with all the analysis you've done of your current growth, that as the fiat comes in, that you're going to see a much more significant and much more rapid growth in the next few years?
Yeah, we do, because we can just go. We can go from just targeting the crypto space to targeting the mass audience as well, which it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, the online booking market. Booking.com take millions of bookings every day. 1% of that is a crazy amount of bookings.
Right. So what's
Travala has the branding and the usability to do that.
Well, let's talk about that in more detail. You say you have the branding, Matt, but what's your market strategy to really tap into that mainstream sector, given that you need to educate those parties again, not just beyond the affiliate program? Are you doing anything else that relates to campaigns to educate?
Yeah, so we'll be running different media campaigns, Google Ads, that side of things, Facebook ads, to really push the mainstream adoption, similar to like Booking do. We'll compete on AdWords. That will drive the mainstream bookings. Influencer marketing as well, not just not crypto related, but actual traditional influencers, which really in the travel space are absolutely huge. I'm actually a travel influencer myself. I have over 113,000 followers on Instagram, and the amount of exposure that you can get with those pages and with those connections is amazing, and a very low cost. And these influencers love things like Travala. It's awesome. It's an awesome product.
Well, I'm really glad that you mentioned the word relatively low cost. I want to get frank for a moment. Now, I saw that a colleague of mine and a friend, Chico Crypto, did an interview with you, and he was very, very open about the whole nature of his discussion. He's a fan of Travala as well. But what do you say generally to many of the influencers in the crypto space who demand really high fees? I'm not speaking of Chico, that's for sure, but for those that are either not transparent or that they expect a lot of money for what they do, what do you say to them?
We just won't work with that. We personally won't work with that. I mean, it's great for people to get by. Chico Crypto, I know he only charges a very small fee, and he did with us, just to get by, to live and continue being an influencer and focusing on this as his day job, for example. Right. Which is great. It's great to see that. But when influencers come and we try to charge tens of thousands of dollars, it's just crazy, and it's so unrealistic. I mean, a mainstream influencer in the travel space, for example, if you've got say take the 100K followers I have on my travel influence page, I can charge around $75 a post if I wanted to.
Okay.
Compare that to a crypto influencer with 25K following, they're charging thousands and thousands and thousands. It doesn't really make sense. So that's really, we know the space, we know the influencer market, the traditional market, and we know that it's very, very cost effective to use influencers.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you're so transparent. You do reflect the blockchain itself, and I really appreciate your honesty, because the people and the retail investors really need this. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the quality of the company is there, and that the potential for usership and utility are also there. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're just talking about speculative instruments that may not ever work, and I want to focus on things that do. Talk us through, though, now the Travala wallet as well. Talk us through the innovations and exactly how easy is it to use?
Yeah, it's very simple actually. The developers that worked on this have worked on numerous small exchanges, so they know exactly how to create a really, really awesome usable wallet. We initially decided to create the wallet after we were having issues with the Neo blockchain. We weren't getting transactions through on time, so we went to the drawing board and how can we mitigate the risk, and creating the wallet was the best option. It's very highly secured, and it's very, very easy and user friendly.
Right.
Anyone can go and take a look on the Travala.com platform right now.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like there's so much going on. You've mentioned old and new partnerships, and if you'd like to know more about some of those pre-existing partnerships, you can go and look online. And you've mentioned also all the things about what sets Travala apart. You've covered pretty much everything, Matt. Is there anything that you wanted to say now to the users, to the prospective users, for those who consider it as a speculative investment? What would you like to say to all the people about Travala and what you plan to do for 2019?
I'd just like to say, one, come and take a booking. Even if it's a $5 booking, come and see how it works. Give us your feedback if you feel something's not as good as another site, or we're always open to improving, and we take our community feedback very, very seriously. Two, we have some cool stuff coming in the future, so look out for that, and make sure you follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram.
Absolutely. Now, the social media channels, they're always available. And I have noticed also that many of the team are available for comment. They're actively engaged. I certainly personally am quite interested. As an Australian, we travel quite a lot, and I'll be looking to utilize this platform for the reason that you are a utility. And that is exciting because obviously I do speak to a lot of CEOs, and very rarely can they prove their utility, Matt, in 2019. So I wish you all the very best as you build out. You've mentioned some exclusive today with regard to exactly how rapidly you're likely to unfold in Q1, Q2. And once this fiat gateway comes in, things are probably going to change quite rapidly. And then on top of that, these media strategies that you employ are going to spread the word. What we all like to hear is that you are spreading the word indirectly and directly by being something, not simply, by word of mouth for the future. People want to travel, you want to provide it. Seems like a match. Wish you all the very best. We love that you're utilizing cryptocurrency, and hopefully, Matt, we can talk soon, perhaps in the next few months.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Brad.
Welcome very much. Thanks, Matt. This is the CEO of Travala, and we'll catch up soon.
Cool.